Welcome to Empath Inspiration, where you are honored for your ability to feel so much, so deeply. Each week, you will learn practical information, tools, and insights that empower empaths to live healthy, productive lives. Here's your host, author, intuitive, natural health and holistic nutrition consultant, and the developer of the Foundations Healing System, a revolutionary self-healing method designed specifically for empaths, Dr. Janice Carlin.
Welcome to Empath Inspiration. Today I have something very powerful and wonderful to share with you. As an ultrasensitive empath myself, I continue to work really hard to bring forth information that helps people to understand about high sensitivity. You know, so many sensitive children and adults are labeled and treated for conditions that don't authentically address what they're experiencing. And so the issues don't get resolved. And plus, they're also inundated with toxic chemicals and experience side effects and reactions to them in these treatments. I've heard the stories too many times from people about this, and it breaks my heart. But if more people had the information that explained what they're truly experiencing and why they're experiencing it, then more people would find their way to the tools they could use to truly help themselves. And what I do is all about empowering you to be able to thrive while living on this planet. And there's no amount of energetic or intuitive work that I could do for you to make that come about. The actions have to be taken by you. And it all starts with awareness of the truth of what you're experiencing and why you're experiencing it the way that you are. There are a few pieces of this puzzle that I've been sharing about in my books for a few years. One of these is called soul energy types. That is who you really are, where your soul calls home, and what is your purpose for being. Your soul energy type is a major factor in how you experience energy while incarnated on planet Earth. Now, within the last few months, I've channeled more information about another factor. And it involves the unique dimensional complexity of your energetic structure. This is really fascinating and explains more than anything else I've ever heard about why some people are more sensitive than others, why it's more difficult for some of us to be grounded than it is for others, and why we experience and react to energy vibrations the way that each of us do. So in the show today, I'm very excited to be telling you about this powerful new information about the dimensional complexity of our energetic structure. And before I get into that, I've mentioned before that there is not one approach to healing and health maintenance that works for every person, not one approach even with diet. And this is because there are more variables to our health than people are aware of. The variables combine to determine how we'll react to stimuli in the earth environment. And here's what the variables are. Your genetics, including your ancestry and all the energetic, physical and non-physical energies and vibrations associated with all your ancestors. Your current state of health is another variable. Another one is the degree to which you're present with your body and grounded. This makes a difference, the way that you not only process energy you experience, but the way that you can receive healing and process the healing. All right. And your soul energy type, which I just mentioned, who you are, where you're from, and your purpose for being is another factor. Another one is where you live and work. What energies you're exposed to and experience each day. These are factors. And here is the new part. The complexity of your energetic structure. Now, depending on these variables, like I said, you'll process energy in a unique way to you. The reason that some people are so seemingly unaffected by toxic exposures while some are severely affected is due to the differing complexity of their energetic structure in combination with all these other variables I just talked about. When we take all of these factors into account, it becomes so easy to understand why one approach does not work the same way for everyone. Now, just a little more background information. In a previous show, I mentioned the concept that I call the sensitivity factor. Now, just in case you missed that, I'm going to briefly explain it. It's really important. The sensitivity is your reaction to energetic stimuli. These stimuli can originate within or outside of yourself. As the vibrations you experience come into contact with your own vibration, there's a reaction. The degree to which you experience the reaction is a clue to the complexity of your structure, or where you fall on the dimensional complexity scale, which I'll be telling you about in just a few minutes. In natural healing, we look beyond labels and into the truth of what is the root cause of the issues you're experiencing. This determines the course of action to resolve them. Now, it's different for each person, and it's important to realize that the sensitivity factor plays a prominent, central role in your experience of your health. Energy is multidimensional, and depending upon your own uniqueness, based upon all those variables I told you about, you'll react to energetic vibrations in certain ways. And these reactions take place on various levels of yourself, including the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and etheric. And they show up in different ways for different people. But it's all a reaction to energy, the sensitivity factor. When you experience an unpleasant reaction to energy vibrations, as sensitive empaths do, it's not cause to immediately rush to the medicine cabinet or to a doctor. So you will benefit from just stopping and recognizing what's actually occurring. You're reacting to some kind of stimuli. You may have brought it to yourself directly, or it may have simply crossed your path energetically, or you may have been from interacting with another person. Either way, there are natural, gentle action steps that you can do to resolve the painful reactions. And if you choose to do nothing or cover the pain with medications, alcohol, or drugs, the issue will become more embedded within yourself. And as I've often shared with you on this show, when this happens, it can manifest into actual physical disease and chronic health conditions. Now, before I go further, we can ask, are there cases when there's a true physical emergency that requires medical attention? Yes. Yes, there are. And this is different from resorting to allopathic treatments for things that aren't actual emergencies. Although, believe me, as an ultrasensitive empath, I've experienced some pains that seem to be strong enough to warrant a trip to the emergency room. But using my awareness and tools, I've been able to completely clear them and reground myself in a healthy space where the pain doesn't exist anymore. When something is a true emergency that warrants medical treatment, you'll know because you can't clear it and make it stop when you use your tools. Okay? When you approach each situation with awareness, you can make conscious choices as to how to move forward and resolve them. And the first step is awareness that you're interacting with energy vibrations and you're having adverse reactions to them. And the key to remember is that the goal of all the tools we use and the work we do is to be grounded. And accomplishing this grounding is different for everyone. Why? Well, this is where the new and exciting stuff comes in. When you approach your energy in terms of dimensional complexity, it takes you into a more authentic perspective than using words like chakra, meridian, and aura. This combines all of those concepts, but it goes further. Not everyone has the exact same chakra system, and some people don't even have anything that resembles what are thought of as chakras. Acupuncture works great for some people and not at all for others. Why? Well, it's about your energetic structure. Each person has a unique energetic design, and this is not the same as talking about your inherent unique vibration. That's the soul energy type stuff. Okay, this is different. as an example of a way to conceptualize your energetic construction. Okay, because this is kind of out there. So here's a way you can think of it. Otherwise, this is not exactly what it is. It's just a way to think of it. You can imagine your energy, your whole energy, as a shape having a certain number of facets. Each person's body is a human body, but each body is directly affected by the soul energy of that person. And when you combine those two together, in addition to what's needed for the person to accomplish their mission for incarnating here, these together create a certain energetic structure. So although everyone's body can be generalized as looking basically the same on the outside, the ways that energy is processed isn't the same for everyone. And their energetic structure that we can't see, our energetic structure we can't see, is definitely different. We can't see all these facets, but they are there. And the time has come to stop assuming that everyone has the same chakras and meridian systems and that they function in the same ways as what healers are taught that they do. The more sensitive you are, the more multidimensionally constructed your energetic structure is. For an ultrasensitive person, when one low vibration hits against a tiny fraction of your energy, it basically ricochets around the entire system because of its multidimensionally complex design. When a less sensitive person interacts with the same type of vibration, it can flow through in a more linear way, in and out, without affecting their entire system. Keep listening, because when you know about your energetic design, you know what you need to do to be able to live to your highest capacities on Earth. All right, the dimensional complexity of your structure is what you've actually brought with you to this physical plane in order to accomplish your mission. You're here for a reason. Wherever your soul goes within all of everything, you take a different form that allows for you to experience that space or experience. And it's not just the physical body. The way that your energy is constructed serves that purpose for you and what you are bringing to the greater whole, your mission. Okay? That's some of the background information. I'm going to tell you now about the dimensional complexity scale. And I've channeled this information so you are not going to find it anywhere else. Once I start explaining this, you'll know, or you'll have some aha moments. I know you will, because I did when I was first given this information. All right, the scale has a range from 1 to 100. And the numbers don't relate to anything in actuality. They're just there for the use of the scale and determining what you need to know about yourself. The range moves upward in regards to complexity of construction, degree of sensitivity. Right? The human range begins at 3. There's 6 groupings. Within each one, you'll see that there are different requirements that people have to do in order to be grounded and healthy on Earth. I teach about healthy, natural tools and lifestyle practices to use to achieve this grounding, so I'll mention them as I go through. And the more highly sensitive a person is, the more tools they need to implement, and the more often they have to work to remain grounded throughout the day. When I describe the characteristics of each grouping, I think you'll know where you fall. Okay, you're going to basically know where you fall. It isn't necessary to know your exact number on the scale to benefit from this information, and that can be brought through channeling or, meditation on it. All right, the first grouping is not considered to be sensitive. These aren't empaths, but I want to tell you about it so you can see why it seems so much easier for some people to live here than it may be for you or for your sensitive children. So on the scale of 1 to 100, the first group encompasses 1 through 40, and it's called naturally grounded. These people are able to withstand many of the energies on this planet. They can dramatically shift their health experiences by just implementing one major change, like diet or exercise or meditation. Okay, so for example, someone in this group, if they're having health problems, they could just take gluten out of their diet if they were reacting to it and experience a complete turnaround in their health. We've all heard stories of this. And if you're like me, you're probably surprised each time of the stories you hear, because when you've done this, you've basically experienced no noticeable changes for yourself, right? That's because these people, naturally grounded, are not multidimensionally sensitive. And you are. It would take a lot to throw one of these people off balance. They don't need to use energy healing techniques in order to be healthy. And the blessing for all of us and these naturally grounded people is that because of their ability to be easily grounded, they're able to be on the front lines of action in bringing their light to be of service to others on the planet. They can withstand small amounts of toxic low vibrational exposures as opposed to others on the different categories in this scale. You think about people you've seen who've smoked their entire life and they're 80 and they're still healthy. And you think, why? How? It makes more sense when you realize how their energy is constructed. Okay? Now, the second group encompasses 41 through 60, and it's called enduring. These people can withstand the energies of this world as long as they're implementing at least 2 healthy lifestyle practices such as diet, exercise, spiritual practice, or energy clearing. It's fairly easy for them to remain grounded. And these people are also able to be on the front lines of action in the world. They have strength in their ability to be grounded without having to implement too many special adjustments. People in this group are not considered empathic or highly sensitive. Okay? But they do have to do a little more than the first group to be healthy. Okay, with the third group, encompasses 61 to 70, and we reach what is called sensitive. It's at this range and upward that people experience large and often severe effects from small amounts of toxic low vibrational exposures. These people have to consciously work with energy on more levels, though, in order to remain healthy and as part of their healing work. They're reactive to energy because they're sensitive, but as long as they're consistent with combining 3 healthy lifestyle practices, they're going to be just fine in the world. They can make very powerful effects in the world by working just behind the scenes of the action, because this allows for them to remain grounded. The fourth group encompasses 71 to 90, and it's called expanded sensitive. The higher the number a person falls in this range, the more sensitive they will be. In this range, people's energy is multidimensional, so they need to implement at least 4, consistently implement 4 healthy lifestyle practices in order to maintain their health and facilitate healing. So when we say that, we're talking about diet, exercise, getting adequate sleep, using energy clearing and healing, spiritual focus, at least 4 consistently every day. Right? They may experience sensitive reactions, but are able to brush them off and move through the energy of them as long as those healthy tools and practices are in place. Right? It is important to be consistent the more sensitive you are. And when these people go out into the world, they have to consciously maintain their grounding in order to remain healthy as they interact with all kinds of energies which they use with their tools. And their light is able to make an impact for the better here on earth. But they have to remain aware and keep themselves clear, energetically clear, physically clear, so that they can remain grounded and do their work, their light work. Well, now we are in the last 2 groups, which encompasses us, highly and ultra-sensitive people. The energy structure is much more complex here. When energy gets blocked in one little part of the body and energy system, it's experienced throughout the entire being of the person. Before I had awareness of who I am and how to work with energy, I used to be sick all the time. I had an insightful healer tell me one time, "Boy, Janice, when you get a cold, it's not just a cold in your nose. It's all over." And I honestly didn't know what that meant back then. But with this information I'm talking about today, it makes perfect sense to me. The fifth group encompasses 91 to 95, and it's called highly sensitive. Highly sensitive people have a tougher time in the world in feeling good and remaining centered and grounded. They have a complex, multidimensional, energetic structure and feel deeply on multiple levels, sometimes at the same time. People with high sensitivity need very gentle healing tools and benefit from a very multifaceted healing approach. Highly sensitive people are multidimensionally constructed and therefore need to implement 6 healthy lifestyle practices in order to heal effectively and remain healthy. This means consistently having a healthy diet with nutritional balance, exercise that feels good, that you do consistently, getting quality and adequate sleep as often as possible, having spiritual practice you do daily, whatever that is for you, using energy clearing consistently, and energy healing techniques, all daily. Highly sensitive people can be out in the world, but they have to remain diligent on being aware. So as long as they use their tools, they can remain healthy and grounded. But highly sensitive people may find often that they prefer to be out of the spotlight or to spend a good amount of time just being quiet and alone in order to clear and ground themselves, especially being out in the world. And there's nothing wrong with this. It's just the way it works. That energy has got to have time to clear itself out because all of these energies are bouncing around all over it and through it and around it. And the final group encompasses 96 to 100, and it's called ultrasensitive. And these are the most multidimensionally, complexly designed people. They need, in order to be healthy, in order to heal effectively, they need to implement all healthy lifestyle practices and tools that are possible and that work for them consistently. They are not naturally grounded and have to do conscious work often to be and remain grounded. Ultrasensitive people have to work very hard to stay grounded so that they can be healthy. Then it's not going to happen without the grounding. And this health, and we're talking about mental and emotional health and physical health, any of it. Okay, you got to be grounded to experience the health and vitality. And they need time and space to recover after being out in the world. They need to use tools consistently and more often, much more often than other people, so that they can feel good and remain healthy. Ultrasensitive people have to use their intuitive senses in order to navigate this world so that they can make the choices that are in their highest good, because it's difficult for them to recover from doing anything otherwise. There are less ultrasensitive people than other groups, the other groupings I told you about, the ranges of numbers, than other groups of people living on Earth right now. However, more multidimensional children are being born with high degrees of sensitivity because there is a need for people in general to be aware of the level of toxicity present on Earth and within our bodies so that they can begin to clean them up. More and more sensitive people are becoming more highly reactive to toxic energies because there are more of these toxins present in our world all of the time. And when a person lives in a non-toxic place that is a sensitive person, and by this I mean free of chemicals in the air and water, free of violence and undue stressors, these sensitive people can be healthy, and it's easier for them to remain grounded without using so many extra tools all the time. But if that same sensitive person were to go and live in a big city, they wouldn't fare as well. So even though the sensitivity and multidimensionality are present, They aren't as noticeable if the person is living in a low-toxin, peaceful, and safe environment. And again, that's why I said that's one of the variables of the health. Where are you? What are you experiencing every day? This is something to take into consideration of what's going on with what you're experiencing with your health. Now, as an ultrasensitive person myself and parent of an ultrasensitive child, I had to develop a new multidimensional healing method because there was nothing I could find that worked well enough for us to live with vitality. We couldn't do it. We were struggling because we didn't have something that encompassed all of the tools. And this is my Foundation's healing system. And although it works for everyone, it's designed to be especially helpful and effective and multidimensional enough for those who fall into the 90 and above range on the dimensional complexity scale. That's highly sensitive and ultrasensitive. And there are many other methods out there, we know, that are well designed to support other levels of complexity. But as highly and ultrasensitive people who are listening to this know, I know you know, who have tried many things and they're just not working. For example, and everything I'm telling you I've channeled. Acupuncture is designed to work wonderfully for those whose energetic structure falls between 1 and 60 on the dimensional complexity scale. But anything above that, no. It just does not. It's not how it's designed. You see? It works great for my dog. It's like a miracle for my dog we've experienced recently. For me, I don't even want to talk about it's just a nightmare experience for me. It doesn't help and it hurts and it's terrible. So, but you see, my dog is not the same number that I am and how we are energetically constructed. Okay, now apply this to the real world. Why can't doctors and scientists find the answers to solving complex conditions such as autism and autoimmune disorders? There are two reasons. The conditions are complex, and the people experiencing them are also multidimensionally, complexly structured. And they're not taking any of this into account. Well, they know the conditions are complex. They just don't know what to do with them once you apply it to a person. It takes a fully multidimensional approach to understand and address these conditions properly, and it takes a knowledge, really, that they don't have of the truth about the energy of the person that they're dealing with to be able to effectively address their symptoms and their pain and their struggles in the most honoring way possible. And they just don't have the information yet. And for what I've shared with you today, I'm so excited to have told you about. This is the first time that I've talked about it. I promise I'll be writing about it and sharing more about it so that more people will begin to have awareness of what's actually going on with sensitive people in our world. And with this, when this happens, sensitive people can be healthy and grounded and, importantly, fulfill their missions for incarnation here on beautiful planet Earth. We're here to bring peace, but if we can't feel peace in ourselves, how are we even adding more peace to the world? We must get grounded. And I hope that this new information gives you a start of just having that awareness of why you experience the energy the way you do and why it's different from the way someone else does. And why, when you hear all these people on the internet, on TV, wherever, in the media, this is what you have to do, this is what works, this is what works. And no, vaccinations don't hurt you, even though they hurt maybe 1% of the people or whatever they say. They're not going to hurt you. They don't know you. None of these people know you, and they don't see your soul energy type. They don't see your true light. They don't see where you're from, and they don't know why you're here. I got a little emotional there. And they certainly don't have the clairvoyance or awareness enough to see how your energy is designed. And the amazingly, beyond what our human brain can probably conceptualize, the amazing complexity of your energetic structure. They don't see that. They don't know you, so they don't know what you need. And I'm saying that really strongly because I'm channeling it through. It's really important that we protect our sensitive children. And just because some kid can go and have ice cream after school and be happy, another kid can have ice cream after school and be sick for the rest of the week and not sleep. It completely ungrounds them. What is the smallest thing that no one would think would hurt anything will completely unground an ultra-sensitive child. Be aware. Be aware. Watch the reactions and respond to them. If there's an adverse reaction to something, don't do it again. Don't eat it again. Don't feed it to your child again. That's a message. It was a bad reaction. Stop. Protect them. And then do the healing that they need and that you need so that you can experience more things. You know, it's not good if we're having reactions to healthy things, you know, and healthy foods and healthy vibration, things that are natural and good. We're having reactions to those. That's rough. That's tough because we need to get all of our nutrients in our body to be healthy. So there is healing often that needs to be done. Find the ways that work for you. Find the ways that work for your children. And be consistent. Be consistent. Be strict with yourself in the most loving way, because all of this comes from unconditional love. When you know and you love and you see your soul and your children's soul, you would never bring something to it that would cause it harm on purpose. Okay, be consistent. There's too many energies in this world that are too harmful. There's too many chemicals. There's too much violence. We just have to keep them away from ourselves and reground, use energetic techniques to reground ourselves in a space of purity, because that's what we need in order to be here. It's what we need in order to thrive. Just keep clearing your space and regrounding in that space so you can be here in this world that has a lot of toxicity. This is how it works. The Foundation's healing system right now is free on my website. You can just download it because it has to be given because people need it. So thank you for listening to these messages. And I invite you to come. My website is empoweredthriving.com, EMPOWEREDTHRIVING, empoweredthriving.com. And you can also find my book, Empathic Sensitivity. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for being here on planet Earth. Beautiful, sensitive empath, thank you for being here because your light is so needed. And ground yourself. Be willing to do what it takes to be grounded so that you can shine as brightly as you can and feel good while you're doing it. This is my wish for you. So until we meet again, please stay empowered.
Thank you for listening today. Please join us next week as Janice answers listener questions and provides more inspiration and practical applications for you to live a healthy, productive life as an empath.